Hello everybody, how are you today? My name is Melissa Remigio and I'm going to do a really short video on how to get over 400,000 views, thousands of likes, and a boatload of comments using LinkedIn Pulse. Now, would you like to be like Jeff Hayden? His article, The One Quality Every Successful Person Needs, received over 400,000 views, 2,753 likes, and 471 comments. Or would you want to be like Bernard Marr? He is the author of the 10 biggest grammar mistakes that smart people make that make them look stupid. Well, that's me because I make a lot of grammatical errors. This article recently got over 142,000 views, 2,473 likes, and 652 comments. So I've been blogging for almost a decade and I have never seen numbers like this. And so what I was doing, like many people on LinkedIn, I was using the whole pray and spray strategy. I'll put up an article and hope that it goes viral. But after you've been on the block a couple of times, you know that hope is not an effective strategy. So the other strategy I had was luck, but luck isn't really a good strategy for me either. In fact, I've never really been lucky. However, I do know a lot about getting information, and I do know a lot about applying information to get results. So that's what this video is going to be about. Not about hope, not about luck, not spray and pray. It's going to be about being able to implement tangible, actionable plans so we can get the results that we desire. So in this short video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to get thousands of views on LinkedIn Pulse. And so number one, it is important to write what people want to read, not what you want to write. So I know you have this wonderful story you want to write about your new Shih Tzu, or you want to post this beautiful story about your grandchildren or your daughter or your boat or your new car. And I'm going to tell you, you may love it, and I'm sure your children are absolutely beautiful and adorable, but sadly the rest of the world doesn't care. Instead, find hot topics that people are actually interested in. Don't make assumptions about what people like and what they want to hear, because you don't really know. One thing about being a marketer is that it's very selfless, which means that you have to surrender your ego and write about what people need. Give them solutions. Give them solutions. So we can do this by researching a website that I like called Topsy.com. And before I even started to research or really begin to delve into writing about LinkedIn Pulse, I did a search on Topsy to see who was writing about LinkedIn Pulse, and most importantly, who was sharing information about LinkedIn Pulse. And Topsy.com is a wonderful website because it allows you to identify influencers, which is very important on Twitter. It also allows you to examine backlinks, and it allows you to see who's sharing information. So with this said, you're able to collect a great deal of information before you even begin to type on that notepad or type on your computer or write, that pen to paper, however you write your content. So make sure that you come up with a topic that people want to read, not what you want to write. Then, of course, there's additional research. You want to do a Google search. You want to see how many articles are being written about the topic. I did some research to see who was writing about LinkedIn Posts. And as always, there's big magazines that kind of hoard up the top positions in Google. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to compete as far as gaining visibility in Google search engines because there's far too many competitors. However, once I checked out the video section, I realized that I could create a video and maybe rank the video. Now, this is a strategy that goes beyond this video. But for me, if my strategy holds true, then I should get enough likes and shares and views and backlinks to be able to rank in YouTube, LinkedIn, and Google+. And Google for that matter. So the whole point of this is to try and hit 3 or 4 birds with one stone, but that again extends beyond this video. So let's go to step number 2. Don't make the mistake of creating content without a distribution list. I cannot emphasize this anymore. I've done this. I've done it 100 times. I've built websites and I've written content and I've taken hours to write content, and I'm inspirational and I'm funny and it's great information and still it never sees the light of day. I never get any eyeballs to this, to these articles. And, content is important, but only if you can get people to read it and see it and share it. So the truth of the matter is that there's thousands of blogs, there's thousands of bloggers who aren't making any money, and there's thousands of bloggers who are quitting each day because they're sitting there waiting for their numbers to grow, and they just aren't. And I'm sorry to digress. All these memories, it brings back awful memories of blogging and not seeing numbers and being discouraged and being burned out, so to speak. So learn from my mistakes and understand that you do not want to write one piece of content without having a distribution list first. And you get that by doing your research on Google and doing your research on Topsy.com, identifying who you can contact to share your content. Because in this day and age, no one is going to give you anything. There's no hope. There's no prey. You have to reach out to people before the article hits the ground. Okay, so step number 2, write about influencers. Of course, name dropping is huge on the internet. I dropped a couple of names. I dropped Jeff Hayden and Bernard Marr. And then once this video is done, I'm going to share this video with them. Hint, hint. So it's one of those things where people like free publicity and everyone likes to see their names in shining lights. More importantly, people want to share. They want to feel like they're helping people. They want to feel like they're part of a community. So this is a reason why you kind of want to delve in and start talking about others, because it makes you and makes them feel like you're part of something. Okay, so let's go on to step number 4. Create a list or lists on Twitter. I've created several lists on Twitter, and I'm not really a big tweeter. I just don't have a huge following for that, at least not yet. However, I do follow influencers faithfully. I spend a lot of time listening to what people are saying in the community, and some of them tweet every hour, every minute, every couple of seconds. So it can get really noisy if you are on Twitter all day. And so you really have to learn how to use this mechanism wisely, so to speak. And so what you're going to do is you're going to create lists based on the articles that you've written. And so people who have tweeted or retweeted or said anything about a topic, for example, LinkedIn posts, you're going to add them to your Twitter list. And so when it comes time for you to publish your article, you're going to reach out to them. Hey, Melissa, Total Business Marketing Makeover, I know you like this other LinkedIn post. How about you share this one or read this one, or so on and so forth. And so this way you're adding to the community, you're adding great content, you're adding information, and you're also expanding your network. And also keep in mind, these influencers are tweeting 4, 5, 6 times an hour. So they're constantly looking for great content. They're constantly looking for something that's new and exciting. So they need content. Don't think that you're being a bug. Don't think that you're bothering people, because the truth of the matter is that they need good content. And yes, they probably are being approached by a lot of people. But at the same time, they need you. They need that fresh content. Which brings us to step number 5. You have to keep adding to your network. Again, what I'm saying to you is it's best to build as much momentum as possible for your articles or your videos on LinkedIn posts before they even hit the ground. And the reason why I emphasize this concept is because within 48 hours, if your article is getting a lot of views, a lot of comments, and a lot of shares, it will then be featured on LinkedIn posts. So what does this mean? It means that you'll get a crazy amount of views and likes and comments. And this is great because this is how you're going to expand your network and your influence on LinkedIn posts. And what you have to do is to be sure to keep adding people to your network, because your visibility will increase as your network expands. So the more views, the more eyeballs you actually get to your articles, the higher it will be featured in LinkedIn posts. So these are all things that you have to keep in mind or consider when you start writing your articles to be posted on LinkedIn posts. Step number 6, try and get tagged on a LinkedIn content channel. So when LinkedIn Pulse launched back in 2007, it was only open to top influencers. So now LinkedIn Pulse is open to everybody. So what does this mean? It means that competition for traffic and eyeballs is fierce. However, Joe Schmoes like myself, we can bend the odds in our favor by being tagged in a content channel. This will increase our visibility. So this will allow people to find us under certain categories. And I've done my research, and don't quote me on this. I think there's like 56 categories. The ones that I looked into were leadership and management and social media. And so if you get tagged on LinkedIn content channels, you'll get many more views, of course, and a huge following. And so there's several ways that you can get tagged. The first is that you can get a staff member, of course, to hook you up and tag your article. Or you can go in guns blazing and you can just pitch your idea to pitchlink.com. Or you can just work LinkedIn's algorithm, which is to get as many views, likes, and comments and shares within a short period of time. And then what will happen is you'll get the attention of staff members on LinkedIn, and then they may tag you. So those are the several ways to get tagged into a certain or distinctive category at LinkedIn Plus. So let's go to number 7, write articles and catchy headlines. And that's write great articles and catchy headlines. And so I've been a guest blogger. I've done guest blogging, and it's much more easier to write for LinkedIn Pulse as opposed to writing for a guest blogger. Number one, guest bloggers, bloggers that are established, they have their audience and they have a certain formula or format that they adhere to. And they by no means deviate from that formula. Trust me, I know. And so what happens is that there's this huge editing phase where you're constantly being sent back posts or articles to edit and cut and do all kinds of stuff. And so by the time you're finished and the time the article was actually published, you probably spent hours upon hours just making edits and changes. And so with LinkedIn Post, that's not the case. LinkedIn Post, all you got to do is hit that publish button and it's up and running. Secondly, when you're doing guest posting, they want you to have long, elaborate, very detailed articles. However, on LinkedIn Post, some of the best articles are under 700 words. So if you're someone who likes to be brief when you write, then LinkedIn Post may be a really great way to get established and also to get visibility. Also very important to write articles that people are interested in. Write articles that are inspirational, that are funny, that are entertaining, that give out really great information. What I choose to do is I choose to write blueprints, step-by-step guidelines, how-to articles, post articles. And the truth of the matter is that people don't have time to surf the internet. Furthermore, they have short attention spans. And so nobody wants to go and surf the internet and try and piece together all the cryptic messages, all the half-baked videos, and people just don't want to do that. They want to get the full A to Z plan. They want to get, step 1, step 2, step 3, and they want to be able to watch a video within 7 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and be able to implement it as quickly as possible. So this is what we're working with in this day and age. So it's important to be brief, and it's important to give out great information, but not too much so you don't overwhelm the reader or the viewer. So these are some great strategies that you can start using today. And so I would like to know what your LinkedIn strategies are. So please give me a call, or you can call me or contact me via email at totalbusinessmakeover.net. And also don't forget to check out my book, Total Business Marketing Makeover, on Kindle. And it's $3 and it's loaded with a great deal of additional strategies of how you can market your business online. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Talk to you later. Goodbye.